Well, I thought I would shoot this when I got to the hotel for game on night one on Wednesday, but this ridiculous sunset going on behind me, I figured I'd do it outside and just, set the ambiance a little bit. You can see Lake Washington behind me. So we're headed to game on night one. This is sort of the first official day of the convention. We're going to continue the Mighty Endeavor. I'm going to do some walkthroughs. I'll show you what's at the swap meet table. And, in general, gaming kicked off today. I've missed most of the afternoon. I had to work, but, I'm very excited to be there for dinner and see who all is there. It's a lot of people I probably haven't seen in a couple of years since before the pandemic, and what they're playing and what they're excited for, what there might be to buy at the swap meet table. So I'm very happy gaming is back, if you didn't pick that up from yesterday's video. And so it's kind of a shame to walk away from this view, but follow me. We'll go inside. Game On officially kicked off today, goes all the way to Sunday, and let's check it out. All right, dinner time, night one. Let's check the floor. Let's walk it through. Here we've got the entrance. Here's the schedule for today, and a whole bunch of stuff going on tonight. Although not as crowded as I would have expected. We got Captain C happening over here. This is Jeff's table. He runs the convention. He was playing Less Than 60 Miles earlier this afternoon. I know that for a fact. Teaching some folks that system. He really likes Thin Red Line. Looks like they started playing or maybe finished playing there. This is super cool. So this is the collector's edition of War of the Ring, one of my favorite games of all time. And here's all the minis that have been painted that come with the collector's edition. So cool. But Jeff sprung for all of the 3D terrain that this guy on Etsy makes. So he does like a 3D Mount Doom, Minas Morgul, Morannon. Like, it just looks so freaking cool on the table with like the 3D terrain. Such an awesome touch to like spring for that Dol Amroth there. There's the White City, Minas Tirith. Just a really, really cool setup for this game. It's huge, massive. The boards are like, they almost look like they're twice the size of the regular game, or maybe 50% bigger, but that looks awesome with all of the terrain there. This is the box it comes in. Pretty gnarly. War of the Ring Anniversary Special Edition, very cool. War of the Suns.
Hey.
Hello, just taking a walkthrough.
Sure. This is the Sino-Japanese War, World War II in Asia and China.
Very cool. The map looks really nice.
It's a really cool game, a fun game to play, very difficult rules.
Very difficult rules.
Are these the rules right here?
Yeah, but they're just one of the most poorly written game rules you could do. They could have done a much better job. It's a translation job, and instead of rewriting it for clarity, they just try to do a more literal translation, I think.
Sounds like someone on Board Game Geek needs to get to work.
Yeah, people
have tightening it up.
Pretty much agree on that.
This looks like a blown up OCS map.
It does.
That's very nice. Those hexes are, why can't all OCS maps be this big? Smolensk. That's very cool. I just played Autumn for Barbarossa SCS version of this and had a lot of fun with it. Very cool. What else we got? We got a game of Friedrich that's trying to get started over here. Awesome game, fantastic game. Friedrich and Maria, two of my favorite sort of war games. They're somewhat abstract, but Supremacy just ended. Someone got nuked, I believe.
Lots of nuke.
Lots of nuke throwing here. This is the new printing of Fire in the Sky. Looks like someone was reading up on the rules here. This is the new map. Very grayscale, this map. But very big hexes, very nice looking. What else do we got over here?
Like 7 cards, each of us. And then it's the end of the year, and you figure out who has the most in England. And then whoever has the most in England becomes the king. And then the person goes out, and then he becomes the usurper.
Not sure what game that is.
But there's another version of.
So you can upgrade it here and then take it? Yeah.
Furnace.
So
Again, you're going after you upgrade it.
That table's probably going to get a lot of Euro games for the weekend.
that is a comment.
Oh my goodness, that ice cream sandwich looks amazing.
Do you want that other half? We didn't touch it. He doesn't like the ice cream sandwich.
Oh, of course. Sure. I'll take it. Yeah. Excellent. I'll be right back for that. Thank you. Wow, that lucked out. I just walked in and got a half ice cream sandwich. Beyond the sun.
Yep. Bigger than it is online.
Yeah. Good thing there's a lot of big tables here.
Yes, exactly.
Very interesting aesthetic.
Oh, so it also.
Over here, so we got some Combat Commander. Yeah, lots of Combat Commander stacked up.
Do it by the book.
That's a popular one. Some more MMP, Panzer's Last Stand.
Last Blitzkrieg.
Last
From another-
Blitzkrieg. Gotcha. Last Blitzkrieg. BCS.
Yeah.
It's quite the undertaking with this many maps. And here you can see their sideboard with all of the other stuff they've got going on. BCS getting a lot of hotness right now. Here's time for trumpets set up. This is the absolute monster Battle of the Bulge. Looks like the battle hasn't started yet. You can see the Ardennes, all of the Germans lined up. This is Battle of the Bulge, I believe, at the battalion and company level, which is pretty gnarly. But the counters in the map are really nice. I've actually not seen this set up ever, so this is pretty cool. Wow, what an undertaking. Imperial struggle happening over here. I like the game, I know some people don't. This looks like some Undaunted Normandy.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Very nice, how are you?
Good.
Mom, they have an adapter over here.
How's your back?
My battery's
Looks like a game about to get underway. What are you guys gonna play?
We're going to play World of Yoho.
Nice.
I saw it on the schedule. I didn't know what it was.
And I believe some of this stuff has been sold. Let's go check out the swap meet. A lot of stuff for sale. A lot of people bringing games. Barbarossa to Berlin, Ted Racer, CDG, World War II. A game I don't hear people talk about a lot. Civ board game, big box. Nice mix of stuff here. There's war games, there's other types of games. You can see it kind of goes. I'll try and get around the table so we can see some of the other stuff. Let's see, what else? What else is interesting here? Formula D, that's a fun game. U-Boat Leader. Oh, Liberty Roads from Conquistador. This is a really cool system. I've played this once before and it's really neat. It's like a whole chit draw thing for everything, for combat, for I think movement and stuff. Napoleon Returns 1815, I'm pretty sure that's a more recent release. Fort Sumter from GMT, Nothing Gained But Glory. This is Musket and Pike, yep. Time of Crisis, great game down here. Battles of Westeros. One day, so this is both the core game and the Baratheon expansion. It is my favorite Commands and Colors game. And one day I hope to do the whole 4-player Battle of King's Landing with this system at this convention. I was going to do it this year, but decided to do some other big stuff instead. But it's awesome. It's a really cool take on Commands and Colors, especially if you like Game of Thrones, and the pieces look really neat on the table. Combat Commander stuff for sale. Churchill. Got some other GMT stuff. Carthage, Rise of the Roman Republic, Offensive à Outrance. Godspeed to whoever picks that up. $30 is an amazing price. A Distant Plane, my favorite coin game. That one's for sale. Last 100 Yards, also a really awesome World War II tactical system. You can see some of the East Front series games. This looks like a sealed copy of Day of Days, yep. And Gallipoli up there. And a whole big pile on the floor over here. Hellenes, more Time of Crisis down there. What else? Field Commander Alexander. Silent Victory, Through the Ages. Nice mix of stuff. I mean, it's like this convention is not just wargaming, it's for everyone, so there's a lot of interesting stuff for sale. What do we got in here? We got Viticulture. Looks like sealed Viticulture. Tyrants of the Underdark, Arabian Nights, some Dice Forge. Castles of Burgundy. What do we got? Race for the Galaxy, that's cool. Great game. Battle Hymn. Gettysburg and Pea Ridge, that's cool. Eric Lee Smith designed on the Civil War. I know a lot of people like it. It's a chip pull system, I believe. There's some interesting mechanics in the system. What else we got? Captain Sonar, Undaunted North Africa. Copy there for sale. That's pretty cool. Anyways, there's deals to be had and some really cool stuff for sale. Looking forward to more people arriving tomorrow, and I'll show you that as well. Well, here we are. We've played probably about half a dozen turns since you last saw the game. Clearly, the Allies have made quite a bit of progress here. They've, in fact, actually took the ports here in Brittany, well, Brest anyways. They didn't get to Lorient, but they needed to because they were running out of their beach ports. And their supply situation is a little bit stretched, but it's not mattering too much. We're here at the end of August, and you can see that I made a series of counterattacks with this SS unit kind of punching out from the line to catch some of the Allies who had been wounded in their own attacks, and I may have played with fire a little too much because now they are extremely surrounded and in a very bad way with this clever airdrop. This unit here just dropped in this turn. So while the line does look pretty good and Paris does look pretty secure, I have really bad feelings about this, and that is going to be very devastating if that roll goes his way, because that's really the only stack I'm able to attack with, given the German forces, and if they go away, I think we're going to have to pull back massively from Paris. Soviets are on the map over there as well. We'll talk about them later.
Better that I need to roll better than below average.
Okay, yeah. So hold on, real quick, just to set this up. We've got the SS, my most powerful stack, completely surrounded. You're at 6-1 odds. You're carpet bombing the shit out of them right now. Don't fuck it up. Here we go. Moment of truth.
Does the universe like Steve?
Oh!
It loves Steve.
You did.
It loves.
It's because I was videoing it. That's just death. I think they're all eliminated.
Holy shit! And that is a R3. Even.
Yeah, that was very bad. That was very bad for the German war effort. All right, well, here we are. We have just spent the last 6 hours playing Mighty Endeavor. We have made it to turn 13. That's what we're going to pick up tomorrow. 13 of 25. So we're at the halfway mark of the game. And it's been kind of back and forth, punch, counter punch. There's been a lot of great moments that you saw with the carpet bombing of that whole SS, the several SS divisions. The Allies have finally broken through and taken Paris. With the exception of those lone Germans serving as a speed bump who are now out of supply and going to start attriting every turn. It was a pretty fierce battle somewhere around sort of in the neighborhood of Paris. The Germans held out till the end of September, so better than they did historically. And the Allies were just kind of up against the Seine. And we had this grinding sort of couple of turns where they were fighting each other, and now I eventually, the position became untenable. The British broke through up here towards Le Havre, and I just had to pull back, otherwise I was going to start losing lots of units, and I need those units for the end of the game. And now the US and the British, for that matter, are like at a full sprint as fast as they can go. So the game has opened up quite a bit after the first half of today being a very slow and like steady affair, almost World War I-esque. The Germans pulling back to the Ardennes, still able to hit back a little bit. They've reconstituted some of the SS here, and they have some of these powerful mobile stacks that are using overruns during the movement and exploit phases pretty nicely. They picked off up here, they picked off a couple of Canadian, it was a combined Canadian-Polish armored stack. And down here, there was a big attack made by the Germans against some U.S. armor around these woods that eliminated them. But overall, I mean, I've evened out the casualties a little bit, but overall, the Germans definitely having the worst of it. There's just a lot of crappy units that they have in sort of spread out places, and they're easy for the Allies to pick off. Haven't decided where I'm going to make my defensive stand yet, but I'm going to have to probably choose here pretty quickly because all of these, especially the U.S., they're super fast. Even their infantry moves 6, which is pretty impressive. We also had the Soviets finally make it onto the map and come in the east, and that's where the game started to slow down a little bit because there's a lot more to do. I'd say I'm rolling average for the Soviet HQ activations. They're not allowed to attack unless you roll a 5 or a 6 for each headquarters that the Soviets have, but they have managed to make a bunch of progress because their units are so much better. So we've taken Warsaw for the most part. We've taken Krakow. And we're on the march towards Breslau and Posen in Western Poland, and the Germans are just like, it's like a shoestring across the border there. And then this turn down here in the south, this is where a huge Soviet army came in towards Hungary. I did manage to take the first hex of Budapest, but then a bunch of reinforcements came in and managed to fortify the city, so we're probably in for a pretty big battle there. If I can get both of these HQs activated on the same turn, it would be super useful. But the Germans kind of falling back through Slovakia, we're gonna have probably a little bit of a hurricane in there. So all in all, while geographically closer, it's harder for them to get going. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. There's how many turns are left? 12, 13, something like that?
Going into turn 13, it would be
So
13 more turns.
on average, each HQ will activate 3 more times. Is that enough? Is that enough for them to get in here without some luck? I'm not sure. We'll see. But they did just get a heap of reinforcements. Their dead pile, which was pretty big, is back very small. So this is kind of like where we stand here at the end of day 1, but day 2 of playing. And I think I'm pretty confident we're going to finish this by tomorrow night. It's looking really interesting. I feel like the pressure, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like the pressure of the race,
It comes in waves. It's like, oh no, I'm doing so great, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I just lost a couple units, and now I'm gonna get gummed up somewhere. And the whole time I'm trying to move and get through here. There's still, there's all this terrain. There's the west wall I need to start thinking about. And I look over to the east, and I'm like, and there's nothing. There's just these open plains of Poland and a handful of German units. I'm like, well, the unfortunate thing is I'm just going to sit there and hope that you don't roll to activate those HQs. Like, that's all I can really do is hope you roll crap while I
you have been counterattacking over here though a little bit, and have been managed to knock out some of my motorized units, so that I am not able to fully surround and pocket a lot of the Germans. So just when I think I'm about to close the noose, the Germans punch back.
Little ones, little punches, just to keep the game alive, but it's bloody every time we roll the dice over there.
The combat here on this front, there's a rule that says the combat losses are doubled when the Soviets attack, so there's just tons and tons of losses piling up, and obviously the Soviets have the manpower to take those losses. The one thing I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow is all of your victory points are in here, all of these really hard to take hexes, these fortresses along with the terrain. That's going to be an absolute slog for you to take those, but you have the units, so
I'm trying not to think too hard about what that's going to look like, because it's it's fort and
rough,
so it's
times 4 for the defender, and your air power is going down every turn. You're getting less and less air, so
it's going to be the nail biter of can I get over the west wall? Can I even get to the Rhine by the time you're walking into Berlin?
Well, don't forget too, when you get to the Rhine, when you're bordering the Rhine, there's a rule that starts removing German units, right?
Oh, right. It's you roll a die and divide by a half or something.
Exactly.
Round up or something, which will be nice. That might be, but you're always going to pick the worst units.
Yes, of course. Although you've eliminated most of the worst units, so.
Oh yeah. So you still got some, but there's still a lot of reinforcements still to come in over time. We're all going to get a couple more units each turn, so you're going to have new stuff to cycle in. Same for me. But I've lost enough armor that it is starting to hurt a little bit.
You also, the one thing I should mention before we break here is you did take Marseille finally on the final turn when your beach invasion port in Saint-Tropez was about to disappear. the Free French managed to make a rush and take the city, so that's going to come online next turn, and that's going to be problematic because all of these units, there's nothing in between them and sort of my northern defenses, so I might see if I can delay with this little stack here. They actually had to cut their way free after being surrounded, so the terrain is to my benefit, but I can't block both roads, so that's going to be a challenge. Anyways, we'll obviously pick this up tomorrow and we'll chronicle the finale, but having a ton of fun with this one, and totally worth it to play face to face after all these years.